What's good? What's good? Man, hope everybody doing all right. It's your boy Chiefy Chief. Um, I definitely do the Chief and Go each and every Thursday, but this is something different. Y'all make sure y'all tune in to the Chief and Go Thursday nights at 8. But, um, you know, I saw this story today and I had to it was just so strange, right? I felt like I had to say something. I wanted to look into it, and I was like, man, let me go live with the family so we could talk about it. And here I am. So yeah, quadruple amputee, right? So that means no hands, no feet, is convicted of murder. Not convicted. I'm sorry. It's charged with a couple murder charges, murder one and murder two, something like that. I don't know if y'all heard the news, but I was like, man, I'm gonna go live. We're gonna talk about this. So let's unpack this, right? Shout out to everybody in the DMV. This story actually took place in Super Maryland, Charles County, La Plata area. And it's just so strange. So I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to come talk about it, man. And let's look into it and see if we can figure it out. Maybe y'all can help me. We can assume and make our assumptions and try to put the puzzle together. I watch the crime channels and all that all the time, and it's just interesting to see how things unfold, how people's minds work, and what takes place, man, being a human. One day everything's cool and normal and fine, and the next day you up on murder charges. So we're going to talk about Dayton Weber, who's actually a professional cornhole player. I had to find out what that was, right? I'm familiar with the game, but I wasn't familiar with the name. And first of all, we're going to send condolences, prayers, and love out to the victim, the guy who was unfortunately murdered, Broderick Michael Wells. So love to his family, friends and loved ones, because it's unfortunate, but just the circumstances and the details behind this story is what make it so interesting, intriguing, and strange. So I heard it on Joe and Nina show, the Joe Clay and Nina Brown show, and they was talking about it. Of course, it's going to be some jokes and things, because we're talking about, not that being a quadriplegic is funny, but the fact that he's up for murder charges for shooting someone is just crazy. And then as you get the details and find out he was driving and all the other things surrounding it. So let's get into it. I'm going to play this news report for those who haven't seen it. One time, well, I thought I was. Here we go. Oh, I'm sorry. So let's play that first and foremost. It's crazy.
Welcome back. And now to a very unusual murder investigation in Maryland, where the suspect is a quadruple amputee and he's one of the top professional cornhole players in America. CBS News correspondent Chanel Cole joins us now with more. And Chanel, what more can you tell us about this case?
Well, look, Mugo, this is a bizarre and disturbing story. The center of this story is someone who would be considered to be an inspiration up until now. 27-year-old Dayton Weber. This is someone who is a quadruple amputee and also a star cornhole player. He is a professional cornhole player who's won multiple tournaments before, but now police, Mugo, believe that he is also a murderer. So how did this happen? Well, police say that Weber was out with a couple of friends. He had 3 people in his vehicle. He was driving his Tesla SUV in La Plata, Maryland on Sunday night when this happened. They say that someone who was in the vehicle told them that things got heated in that vehicle. They say one of the people who were in the back seat told investigators that Weber actually shot and killed 27-year-old Broderick Michael Wells. That person also told police that Weber then pulled the car over, asked the 2 remaining passengers who were inside the vehicle at that moment to help him pull Wells's body out of the vehicle. Those 2 people told police, Mugo, they refused to do so and that they then got out of the car and left the scene. They say Weber then drove away and that Wells's body was found 2 hours later.
A resident called 911 to say that they saw what appeared to be a body lying in somebody's yard.
So Weber was eventually found, Mugo, at a nearby hospital in Virginia just a couple of hours later after he was arrested. Investigators also described this as someone who is a gun enthusiast. What does that mean? Well, look at some of the videos on your screen right now. These are videos that he posted to his personal YouTube channel, which obviously show him loading and firing several shots from a handgun, as you see there. Weber was charged with first and second degree murder. As for next steps in this case, he is waiting to be extradited back to Maryland.
All right, Chanel Call, thank you so much for your reporting.
So that's crazy, right? Because first of all, you're thinking, how did he pull a trigger with no fingers? Well, I'm thinking. Then secondly, I mean, of course, what was the argument about? Why was he the one driving? I guess it's his car, right? I mean, and he might have Social Security. You know, he might have a little change or get a check because he's been a quadruple, what's it called? Amputee since a kid. Not to mention, beat the odds and became a cornhole champion and all these things. So he's been fighting through this disability his whole life. So of course he's adjusted and learned how to, you know, maneuver and do what he need to do to get through life. And so it's just so many questions. And it's like, okay, so he's in the car, they get in an argument, right? And he shoots his passenger. And, you know, looking at that video with him shooting, do you not see as the passenger, you know, Broderick, I mean, who knows what's going on? Who knows, you know, people could have been under the influence of things, and slow response time could have been a factor. I'm not sure what time of day this was, but it was 4 people in the car, I believe, 4 or 5, 2 in the back. And so he shoots, but I'm just saying, how you just saw him have to pick up the gun and do, you know, how did you let him and they were friends, so maybe he didn't believe that he was going to shoot him. You know, maybe these type of things happen, you know, when you with the homies and, man, I'm out there, you know, you get into it sometimes. But how do you let him get the gun out, position it, and shoot you? And unfortunately murder this guy, right? That's crazy enough just to try to picture how that unfolded. And then he says to the people in the back, help me get rid of the body. They all friends, right? Y'all got in an argument. You shot our friend, and now you're telling us to help me get him out of here. The friends say, no, sir. They get up out of there, go call the police. They find Broderick, Broderick Michael Wells, up the street in somebody's front yard, right? How was he able, like we said, he's been this way since a kid, but how was he able to get him out the car into somebody's front yard? Being a quadruple amputee, like, it's just so many questions, and I'm just trying to visualize and picture this. It's just a strange story, man, and it, like I said, it happened in Maryland, even though it's super Maryland, you know, it's not too far from home. And, you know, I'm sure we all got family and friends, and some of y'all may have family and friends and may know these people. And it's like, I'm just, you know, it's not a joke. Even though there are some funny circumstances, I'm not here to be funny. I'm really trying to figure it out on my Dick Tracy Sherlock shit. Like, how did this happen? But so I got another video where that clip came from, where they got him on where he was on YouTube firing, you know, shooting a firearm. And I'm still trying to figure out how the trigger was pulled. So let's watch that one real quick. Let's look at that one. Let's look at that one, bruh. I don't get it. I don't get it. This is bad.
On a side note,
Oh no, that's not
we
it.
got the
A resurfaced video is gaining attention after the arrest of a Charles County murder suspect. The footage appears to show 27-year-old Dayton James Weber demonstrating how he loads and fires a handgun, despite being a quadruple amputee. In the video, he uses his arms and body to operate the weapon and fire multiple rounds. The clip is now circulating online as Weber faces murder charges tied to a March 22nd shooting. A resurfaced video is gaining attention
So I
after the
guess-
arrest of a Charles County murder suspect.
I guess, with his nubs, where he was amputated at, it's still, enough to grip that trigger. It's enough, is enough there. And so, I mean, we can see he can shoot. So I was like, okay, boom. It's just confusing. So I'm like just trying to figure out more about who this guy is. So I looked at it's an article right here from today.com. Okay. I'm gonna read through a little bit of that one. Just like we're just trying to get a profile, just understand who this guy is, right? So this is talking about how he became because like I said, he's a professional cornhole champion, right? So this is back from 2023, right? And he's talking about how he became, or it's a story about Dayton Weber, 25, is a professional cornhole player in the American Cornhole League. Since he was 10 months old, that's when he got amputated. He has been a quadruple amputee. In an essay for Today, he shares what it took to go from an amateur to a professional competitor. The first time I won cornhole championship, I knew I could make it as a pro. I was the state finals, and my teammate and I were down 20-4. In the last round of the cornhole, it seemed like we might lose, but we fought back and ended up winning 21-20, clinching the title. It was one of the biggest accomplishments of my professional cornhole career, and it felt amazing to go from underdog to winner. In many ways, surprising people has always been part of my life. Absolutely. I went from overcoming a serious blood infection and undergoing a quadruple amputation as a baby to becoming a professional athlete as an adult. For the past 8 years, I've been playing cornhole, first as an amateur and now as a professional with the American Cornhole League. The Professional Cornhole League is in the United States. Started off playing in the backyard with friends, then began playing weekly at the local American Legion. I loved it so much, never missed a Friday. Right? So, I'm just going through the article. People often underestimate me when they see me, no matter the context. I have been a quadruple amputee since contracting a serious streptococcus pneumonia blood infection when I was 10 months old. As doctors rushed to save my life, they realized they needed to amputate my arms and legs to slow the infection. They told my parents there was a 3% chance that I'd survive. For 4 months in the hospital, I fought and eventually overcame the infection. I learned how to do things such as writing on my own and even taught myself how to drive by racing go-karts. Teaching myself how to do various tasks such as writing, picking up things off the floor, even driving helps me with cornhole too. I had to adapt my style to fit what works with my body. Most players throw the beanbag flat. Because of the angle I'm throwing from, this technique doesn't really work for me. I grab the bag by the corners because it gives me more leverage that I would have if I wouldn't have probably if I threw it flat. I can feel when the bag is in a certain spot where I know I can release it and it will sail. So I wanted to go. If I were wearing the prosthetic hands, I would struggle to have the same control. When I play cornhole, I rely on a hoverboard to navigate the area, shunning the prosthetics outside of competition too. I do sometimes use a wheelchair, such as when hunting and fishing. This chair has tracks like a tank, so I can maneuver on even terrain. I can take it in the snow through creeks up and up hills, right? This is our guy, right? Dayton Weber. So yeah, he's kind of just talking about, his cornhole experience in that article. So I'm just trying to get some backstory on this guy. And yeah, man, it's just, it's just an unusual thing. So then I saw his TikTok as I was searching. So, like who's this guy? Let's see who this guy is. And I'm like, okay, just like a normal guy, right? It seemed like just a normal guy. Can y'all see that, right? Let's look at some of this. What's going on?
Shamar Moore flicked me off.
Wow. Playing cornhole with Shamar Moore.
See me rolling, they hating, patrolling and trying to catch me riding dirty, trying to catch me riding.
Okay.
When your legs don't work like they used to before.
Hey, you think you can put a Commander's win in that bag for me? We gotta put a Commander's win in the bag, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, it rotates. Thanks, brother. Discord is hands-free YT2406. And I don't know what track.
Wow.
What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how I crank back my crossbow. 10-point nitro XRT. Beautiful bow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this down on the active draw. Pull this little pulley system out. Put it back there. Close it up. Grab this 1/4 to 1/4 socket wrench.
Wow.
It comes with one, but if you're a dummy like me, you'll lose it and have to end up using this. But it works great. What's going on, guys?
Yeah, so I mean, as we can see, he's very agile. Like he's able to.
It is freaking cold.
Use his what he got left very well, right? He's been 10 months old, right? He's been doing it for a while. That's crazy though. It's just like, to come from this type of misfortune to survive through it. They said he had a 3% chance to live, to get through it, to live your life for 25, 27 years now, and seemingly be successful. Cornhole champion. You playing cornhole with Shamar Moore. They featured this guy on the news and stuff before. To ultimately murder your friend, shoot your friend while y'all driving over an argument. And so that last video we just saw kind of made it make sense a little more, because I'm looking at the mug shot and I'm looking at all these other videos and I'm like, this just don't look like the same dude. Let me see if I can find the mug shot, right? Let's find that mug shot. Well, the mug shot is in my it's on the thumbnail. But let's see. Can I show it? Can I download it from the New York Post, right? I mean, and I mean, it's all speculation, but when I'm looking at this mug shot, because we live a certain way in the hood, in the go-go community, and the you know what I'm saying, we on the block and we doing what we do. So, I know what substance abuse look like. Oh, it ain't gonna show me the joint. I know what that look like. We know what it look like. So I'm just like trying to figure out what was going on, like what was the deeper thing going on. Because like I said, when you're looking at this mug shot, it's not looking like, the same guy. And of course, I mean, you can see it's the same guy, but you know what I mean, as far as like, of course, the hair. All right, I was gonna make it bigger, but yeah, it just, some of these TikToks and stuff, this stuff wasn't long ago. So anyway, it's just crazy, man. And like I said, I don't know. Of course, it just happened. So we don't know all the details about what happened. I just thought I'd come in here and talk about it. Some of you may know these people because we are not far, right? We right up the road. Then I looked at his Facebook, and I'm just like, wow. And man, we just got to be, for one, just for anybody, we got to definitely just, self-control, right? There's a lot of things working in the world. There's a lot of, it's a lot of things in the ether, right? It's spiritual warfare going on. It's finances are tight. It's a lot of mental illness. You understand? So we really have to be cognizant of remaining calm and containing our emotions, because you talk to most of the people in the penitentiary, your life could change in 14 seconds or 6 seconds or 132 seconds. You could be free, happy, regular person, a civilian, normal, no psychopathic tendencies, no serial killer, signs. And then you could be locked up for murdering your friend. And that goes for anybody. But like I said, this story is so interesting because, when you hear quadriplegic, and that's how the news frame it, that's how they gonna frame it to get you to watch. Is up on charges for murder 1 and murder 2 or something like that. I don't know how it's both, but yeah, this is a post from March 14th. They should send Epstein's list to everyone's phones, like that U2 album. I remember that on Apple Music. Yeah, just a regular guy living life just like all of us. And in the instant, that's my hand I broke. I'm getting it back. All right. In the instant, it could all change, man. But like February 5th. So yeah, I mean, just like I said, that mug shot and these pictures of him, it just kind of threw me off. But yeah, so that was one thing. Like I said, how he got into and like they said, he's a gun enthusiast. So I mean, but how he got how he got he shot him and got him out the car, then drove an hour and a half or so away. They say they found him in Charlottesville at a hospital, right? They caught him at a hospital. So they haven't really gave the details of the injury, but it was a minor injury or something that he had. So I'm just wondering, what was the injury? So like I said in the beginning, did his friend see him pulling out the gun and hit him, or you know what I'm saying? Was it a struggle? Was it something going on in that front seat before he shot his friend Broderick, right? Was it? How did that, just make you wonder when you're looking at these things. But like I said, I just think, when you see these stories, it's a we gotta look at them as a cautionary tale, as a sign, right? Because everything is connected. And so, you can look at stuff like it's outside of you or don't have nothing to do with you, but everything got something to do with all of us. Everything that happened. And, when God put it in your range of vision and your 5 senses, and, he give you that news report come across your timeline or whatever it is that, however it come to you, the fact that it's coming to you, I think, is the most important thing, and it might be a lesson in it to look at and say, oh, okay. I'm often arguing with my friends, and, I need to do better with my temper because, I almost pulled the pistol out on such and such the other day, and, that could have went bad. So, yeah, just to see that this guy overcame all this adversity and just to end up where he's at now, and then, probably feeling bad because he killed a friend. You know, who knows how close they were, how long they known each other, and he lost the other friends that's in the back seat. They like, you tripping, Slim? All in an instant because of anger or disagreement, where it's just never that important. So I just feel like we gotta be cognizant. We gotta be aware in these moments. We gotta have knowledge of self and what our triggers and our tendencies are, right? So when they happen, we don't black out, we don't crash out, because that's all this is crashing out. That's the new term for it. Because like I said, there's a lot of mental illness and stress and financial strain, spiritual things going on in the world today. If you a religious person, or you into your Bible and Revelation, they spoke of things, but we've been in Revelation forever. So however you want to skin it, things will be revealed. Things were written about, for years ago. But it's a lot of just regular science to life in general, right? Cause and effect is one of the main things. As above, so below. So it ain't that hard to figure out. I mean, the Bible is cool. It's great. It's a good book, right? But this thing been going around and rolling for years and thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and there's certain fundamental laws that govern this earth, this world we live in, this society. And no matter how it looks with government and politicians and regime changes and war and hunger and natural disasters and anything that could come up, right? The creator is the master architect of all, and it is going to be what it's going to be, but you really have no control over that. You just having an understanding of that's what it is. Now you can navigate in a certain way and understanding polarity and energy, right? Light and the dark. You know what I mean? Just understanding things are going to happen, right? And gotta have dark. You gotta have the light. We gotta have the sun. We gotta have the moon, right? You go to the dark, you can see the light better. The light, the good is never as good. The light is not special unless you've been through the dark. So understanding that life is just like this wave, like music, it's a sound wave, it's a roller coaster. It's just the most important thing, and trying to stay balanced, right? Polarity. Your car don't start. It ain't gonna run without that positive and that negative, right? And we all, the world could be a better place, and this could be, it don't work like that. One has to happen for the other to exist, right? There's no such thing as good without bad or bad without good, right? So yeah, man, I just thought I'd come on and talk about that. Like, it's another article on The Guardian where he, when they was talking about it. It's not too much information that's new that I'm here to share. I wasn't doing that. I just wanted to talk about it. So it's 10:25 p.m. on Sunday. Yeah, and they start arguing. Who? I just wonder what that argument was about. And Weber, 27 years old and allegedly shot Wells to death, pulled over in the community of La Plata and asked the other passengers to help him remove the dead man from the car. That's crazy work. The sheriff's office said. The others refused, got out of the car, and fled the scene while Weber drove away with the body of Wells, also 27, the agency added. Two people who were purportedly saw the killing waved down to police officers on patrol in that area and reported what had happened, setting off a search for Weber. A couple hours later, a resident of nearby Charlotte Hall, Maryland, called investigators to report a body in a yard. Investigators determined the body was that of Wells, and the Charles County Sheriff's Office said its deputies obtained a warrant to arrest Weber. Authorities said They found Weber's car in Charlottesville, Virginia, about 150 miles from where the Wells body had been recovered. They reportedly tracked Weber down to a nearby hospital where he had allegedly sought treatment for an unspecified medical issue. The Albemarle County Police Department, whose jurisdiction includes the hospital, arrested Weber as a fugitive upon his discharge. Charles County Sheriff's deputies said they plan to book Weber on charges of murder, assault, and use of firearm in the commission of a felony after he is transferred into their custody. A statement of charges filed in court and reportedly by WTTG said Weber knew his passengers from work. It accused Weber of having shot Wells twice in the head. Wow. Investigators said Weber, Wells, and the other passengers were all known to each other. They did not elaborate on possible motive for the killing. The sheriff's office also has not specified exactly how the suspect Weber was able to fire a gun while at the wheel of his car. The spokesperson noted that the sheriff's office investigators had not immediately been able to serve a search warrant on the car. However, a video posted on the YouTube account named after Weber depicted him loading a pistol, and we saw all that. Weber's arrest quickly gained widespread attention, but boom, 16 years after he landed on the radar of ESPN. This is just, man, it's just unfortunate, silly. It's just silly. Yeah, it's just basically saying the same thing, man. Yeah, man, so, prayers out for him, because, people make mistakes, man. Like I said, you gotta have your emotional, you have control of your emotions at all times, right? Calm is a superpower. You always gotta try to keep everything in perspective and not go off the deep end and not crash out. And, substances can contribute to crashing out. So alcohol and perks and Xannies and syrups and weeds and gas and exotic and coke and dope and all these things that we doing to try to escape our problems or feel good sometimes get us into more trouble. And that's all, man. It's a crazy little story. That's all. I just wanted to come on here and talk about it. Appreciate anybody tuning in. And until the next time, I'm out of here, baby. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Go-Go Loops TV, Chief and Go, Chiefism at CHEEFISM on Instagram and everywhere else, Slim. All right, man, y'all take care, man. Like I said, stay balanced out here. Stay in control.